go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the special edition of Rassle Rock, the exclusive interview that we have with some CZW talent, Eddie Valentine and Nico Sozio, former heavyweight champion Nico Sozio, and of course the gold edition, Eddie Valentine. Happy to see you guys both here. We had a great time last time, and this is Nico. Did you happen to see any of the footage that we shot last time with Eddie and Corey?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. Okay. I see a little bit of it. Yep.
Yeah, a lot. We were talking about
your
Nick
appropriate
Cage.
answer.
Yeah, it's very appropriate. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the view.
You got
like, comment, and subscribe, buddy.
Once again, prepare for war.
Yeah, man. We had some fun talking about some old times and some CZW, and we're itching to do it again. So, Eddie, what's our topic for today?
John Zandig. John motherfucking Zandig.
Hell yeah.
That is today's subject. You guys know
so much to unpack right there.
Yes.
Yeah. You know he's what? What were you gonna say, Eddie? You know he's what?
You guys know he sang that song, right?
Oh yeah.
I did not know that. That was actually said. I heard the rumor, but I thought people were just messing around. That was actually Zandig singing that song.
That is John Zandig. He'll deny it till the day he dies and say that he hired somebody to do it and say it was somebody else, but it was him. The rib was that it wasn't him. Because he was afraid that people would make fun of his singing. But it was John. He'll never crack on it. You can ask him until his dying breath.
It was awesome. So, who cares? He should have totally fessed up to it. He would have been more over, if that's even possible, than he was.
Yeah, everybody loved that song, that CZW theme song. That's still cool. They tried to redo it recently for more, today's shows, but the original kicked so much ass. We were always singing that.
Singing that of course.
Of course, it was kick ass.
I did like the revamp version too. They did a pretty good job. I think if you were familiar with Dan O'Hare, he was like a newer talent in CZW in the last 5-10 years. I think him and his band might have did it. It's pretty good. Yeah,
definitely.
Shout out to Dan O'Hare.
Yeah, good job, Dan O'Hare. It's big shoes to fill. Following that, covering that song.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he sang it, but he was definitely, involved in producing the music.
It's like who can cover the Rolling Stones? Who can cover?
I definitely get excited. I still get excited if I hear it. It's just not. It's in my blood now.
Mm-hmm.
In a rare act of charity, I know John has let whoever has claimed to recording that song now. Like I know that is unusual charity for John Zandig.
Yeah, not the most charitable guy,
but John takes care of his people.
Oh heck yes, definitely. The guy, I've said it before, the guy bought me my first pair of wrestling boots 2 weeks before my first CZW match. He's like, "You're gonna put boots on when you go to the show, right?" And he's like, "I'm like, I don't have boots." He pulls out this giant stack of money from his pocket, just this fat wad, peels off $100 bill, and goes, "Go get yourself a pair of Timberlands or whatever the high tech Magnums." That's what they were.
Magnums. Everybody wore Magnums.
It's like, go get yourself a pair of those and wear those at the show. I was like, damn, that was a baller move from John Zandig right there.
early 2000s Indies is filled with Magnum boots.
Yeah.
Go back and take a look, folks.
Especially CZW. I mean, I know Corey had them. I think Trent had them. Probably John. Probably John. You, I guess.
I know.
Right? You went out and bought yourself some Magnums.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, CZW alone, you guys had the market cornered on Magnums.
See, the official boot of CZW was high tech Magnums. Definitely.
They definitely should have.
What were your? Yeah, John was very generous with me too. What were your guys's? What were your guys' first impressions of, like, when you first met John? What were your first impressions of him?
You got it, Rick.
All right. I was a little on the intimidated side, but no more so than like first day of school meeting the teacher type of thing. Because there was when I got to the school in '99, back when it was in Mantua, and the ring was just packed. There was Reckless Youth, and Justice Payne was here, and Rick Blade was here, Wife Beater, and Lobo, and like Trent and Johnny were there. Like everybody was there. I didn't know these people at the time. I had never been to a CZW show, so I wasn't like starstruck or anything like that. But he brought me into the ring. He's like, "Show me what you can do," because I went to another school previously that was teaching me wrong, and I did my my little hitting the ropes wrong with the one leg going up like a ballerina, and I did a flip bump with both ankles smacking the mat as I turned over, and he's like, "Yeah, they trained you completely wrong, but we'll train you right, so it's fine." And then that was it. But he was super cool about it. Like he didn't get to be like the dad yelling at you until a little bit later down the line for me.
He could be like a dad yelling at you. He yelled at me before like that.
Yeah,
well, how old was John? This is 2001, 2002. How old was John at this point?
I have no idea how old he is.
I think he had to have been in his mid-30s at least.
Right. Because I'm trying to think of how old he is now. He's not 60 by any means, but he's probably in his early 50s, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
So
about mid-30s.
20 years ago. Right.
Yeah. He was a mid-30s guy with a very young roster for the most part.
Mm. Yeah. I met him. I think pretty sure the first time I met him is when I went to the school was now in Deptford, New Jersey. Eddie and John were primarily the head trainers, and I went in for a tryout. Eddie, I don't think was there. I believe John was.
Dahmer or Zandig?
Both, actually. Okay. Dahmer was there, but I think Zandig was as well. And I think I remember, I want to say it was like winter time-ish of '02, because I was a sophomore in college, and I think somehow I had reached out to Kashmir. I think back then the only way to do it really was like email, because like social media wasn't a thing. Mm-hmm. And I think he set me up with a tryout. It was some random Tuesday evening or whatever. So me and my buddy went over to that school, and I think John was. I went through the cheerleading side by mistake because the buildings were together, and they point me over to where John is, and he's like sweeping the ring out. Like this mythical creature that I had only watched at this point is like doing greenie work. He's sweeping out the ring, and I'm like, hi, and like I know I was just obviously super nervous, so like I sputtered out like so much stuff in like one sentence, like, "Oh, hi John, my name's Jeff. Kashmir told me to come here, and I could have a tryout or whatever." Like I just said so much stuff,
right.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, just head over there and give me a couple minutes and we'll do it or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, like I said, you asked my first impression. It was just like, oh man, like Zandig is in the ring sweeping right now. Like it was just really weird. It's funny. It was funny.
When I met John, I told you guys the story of my tryout with Justice Payne, and I think that's the first time I met John too. And I can't tell you exactly how any of our conversation went and all, but I have a tier of like legit tough guys in the business, and top tier is obviously the family, Simone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And I would absolutely 100% put John in that tier of toughness, just physical toughness, strength.
Yeah,
that's saying something.
John is definitely in that tier, so I recognized that immediately, just upon meeting him, and just how he carried himself, and like. But at the same time, I felt comfortable with that, probably because of the Samoans, of Pops and Sam and everybody. Like I felt comfortable with that. Like ECWA and PCW were very fed for very WWE,
Right.
and like John was like kind of like coming, like it was like a second home, like, you know, just like it was like, this is my kind of guy. Like he's legit, you know, and he's not slimy, you know.
Yeah.
He's a thug, but he's not slimy and he's not a bitch. And I just felt comfortable with John. I thought he was a grouch though.
Yeah. It was always weird.
He was physically intimidating. Like I would never have wanted to fight him. And then the more stories that I heard and the more I saw him, and like in the ring and the death matches and the stories, and when I moved down there that I heard about him and the stories he would tell me, and like, you know, it was just like like he's a guy that, you know, kind of does what he wants and says what he wants, and nobody tells him what to do. That's my kind of people. So, I kind of like John right off the bat.
Yeah, I think all in all, he probably just wasn't. I mean, you might agree, maybe not, but like with most people, he just wasn't like the best communicator. Like, you know, no, he was the worst. Like, he was. I mean, I'm sugarcoating it. He was terrible. He was terrible. Like it was always whisper down the lane with John. Like you would find out what you were doing from anybody but John. Like, you know what I mean? I think that was a confrontation avoidance technique. Simply because that John probably would have ended up snapping half the roster's neck. Well, especially if all they wanted to do was
that's how half the direct confrontations would end.
Right. But, you know, on the other side of that, I think, you know, if I remember correctly, if you did approach him and wanted to talk, he was super open and would talk a lot. But, like, you know, he never approached anyone. You had to approach him for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he might give you feedback all of a sudden, like at the school. Obviously, if he's standing around just watching you guys do drills, he'll stop and like say some stuff or whatever. But otherwise, like if it's about business or booking or an idea you have for yourself or your gimmick or your ankle, like he's not coming to you. You got to go to him, and he would usually entertain it. And if it was good enough, he would let you try it. You know, like he let me and Corey do stupid shit like early in our career.
Well, that was kind of the beauty of CZW, because, like I said, so many guys came from PCW and ECWA at the time, which were very WWE. That's how they formatted their shows, was to mimic the Fed system, because they wanted to be feeders into WWE, and Kevin wanted his guys to go up there, and so that's how they ran their ships. But come to CZW, it was like, we can do everything and anything that we want.
Right.
Because John would allow it. He would allow you to go out there and do whatever brain damaging, limb snapping, infection causing, third degree burn having.
Oh, listen, but
he would think that you wanted to do. Anything.
He would let you do it. Do it, but he would go out there and do it himself too. He was never saying like you guys go out there and take the sick bumps and stuff like that, and I'll have like a regular wrestle match or whatever. He would always top people, like jumping off of buildings, taking light tubes to the face and everything like that. He wanted to do as much, if not more, as the in-ring talent. I always respected that about him. He wasn't like backing off and just barking orders and telling people to go out and put their lives out there. You know, he was doing it himself. So I always thought that was pretty cool.
Well, John walked. There was another. It was another one of John's really admirable qualities was he walked his talk. It was just exactly what you guys just said. He never had any expected anybody to do anything he wasn't willing to do and top. on top of it. Like he would like, you know, like he'd be like, hey, I'm doing it. And not only am I going to do it, I'll do something that you wouldn't believe. In my personal, we might as well have this conversation about John now. In my personal opinion, John Zandig is the greatest deathmatch wrestler in history.
He's up there.
Easily.
He's up there for sure.
I have watched so many John Zandig death matches, and they are, first off, John, if he could handle anybody telling him what to do, would have been a phenomenal professional wrestler. He was so athletic, so agile, and so easily one of the strongest men I've ever seen in professional wrestling. Yeah, top tier. I saw him take. Remember early Nate Hatred before he cut up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like when he was real big and thick.
Yeah, probably heavier. Probably,
yeah.
Closer to 260, 80. Yeah.
And John went to pick him up for the spinning power bomb, and something happened. Like Nate was he just slipped. He just slipped down, and John, like without I forget what show this is, but if you know what I'm talking about. Nate never touches the ground. He just has him down here, like this far off the ground, but he never touches, and just muscles him all the way up straight through his shoulders, and spun around and smashed him. And I was just like, wow. This, like you could just like his physical, like he was a guy that could kill you with his bare hands. Like and probably won't lose any sleep over it. Like he was so strong, and he was really agile. I remember one time we were in the ring, and like I don't think he ever used this on a show, but it was a run up onto your shoulders victory roll. So
John
he could
did it?
like, yeah, he could do that down in training. He did it to me. Like he could hit the ropes, run up your leg up onto your shoulders, and victory roll you. Wow. He never used it on a show, but he was that agile and that John would have been a fantastic professional wrestler. Yeah. However, John could not handle anyone telling him what to do ever. It's part of his DNA. So he became the greatest deathmatch wrestler in history.
I definitely remember sitting up like in the there's different times where you'd be up in different balconies watching the show, and I remember him saying that I don't remember exactly when, probably sitting up there with him, but like he would say that like he wanted to be popped as well, like, you know what I mean, just as much as he wanted them to like pop the crowd, he wanted to be entertained as well. Like he always wanted the bar to be raised. He always wanted to see something out of his talent, or whether it was debuting talent or whether it was his regular roster, he was always looking for something to be like, oh, like blown away by, like I've never seen that before, like holy shit.
Well, yeah, I remember he did sit up on the balcony quite a few times. I remember him sitting around watching Chris Cash constantly. Spidernate Webb. I remember when Spidernate Webb first debuted, he had that Teenage Dirtbag song. It was the second match that he's been on CZW, and he's like, I told him to cut this down. How long has this been going on now? And I'm like, I don't know. He's been like halfway through the song, and he's like, this picks back up again, doesn't it? I hate this shit. He just, the crowd ate it up, but I remember him just sitting there. I was like, Jesus Christ, come on! I mean, you're gonna do the whole damn song.
Nate has gotten like so much notoriety from that as well too. Like that being his gimmick, and that band, that song. Like he. I'm not sure how many times, but I know that they have actually played him out to the ring at some show. Like Wheatus has, like the band Wheatus has actually played him out somewhere. Like it's amazing how getting something over can affect your life.
I would say with John loved to watch matches. from up in the balcony, and he wanted, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend either that John would sit up there and be like very supportive of everybody that was going out there to work. John would talk some mad shit.
Oh yeah.
Crazy trash, like just like not anything that he wouldn't be willing to say to your face, but just try to generally fucking avoid just for business purposes most of the time.
And he'd be saying it. He'd also be saying it to like pop whoever was like sitting within earshot.
Yes.
I definitely remember one time Chris Hero was wrestling Trent. Might have been in one of the best. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But like Hero gave Trent the Kryptonite Crunch, I think, which is the same thing as like the Joker Driver. So like Hero did the Joker Driver and Trent kicked out. And I just remember John being like pissed off because he was like, if somebody gives you that effing move, stay down. Like, Jesus Christ. Because, like, this is before that move had been done to death or, like, more than just those two guys were doing it. And, before, like, cradling head drops were just normal, I guess. John was, like, so upset. He was like, God damn, stay down. Jesus.
That's a very valid criticism from John.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why John would say something like that, even though he would allow that stuff to go on, because everybody had a ton of freedom to do whatever they wanted in CZW. It was wild. It was the Wild West of pro wrestling. And John knew how to end a match. Watch any John Zandig match. It builds to the biggest possible epic conclusion that John delivered on every death match. Because as far as I'm concerned, he was doing stuff that could legitimately kill himself and other people.
Well, yeah, any segment he was a part of, even,
But if you watch them, and I'll tell you, John's was the only ones that I could watch. Well, you know what? I'd watch Mondo's too, because Mondo was a trained professional wrestler and he knew how to structure a match. Like Mondo's matches were like more on the pro wrestling side of things, I would say, for death matches. But and purely speaking, in terms of like just death matches with always delivering and always a situation where people could actually die, John delivered every time. And he knew what to end matches on. The biggest, most what the fuck did I just see? Are people okay? Like heart pounding, like what just happened moment in your life that you'll ever witness.
Yeah.
Like, not just the fans, that's the boys. Because we're all on the back going like, no! Oh my God, is he okay? Get him out of the fire. What are you doing? He's stuck. Grab him and pull. Just all the things. All jumping off of buildings, the tables, the razor wire, the light bulbs, the glass pane. Just like, but he knew what to end it on. And that's his death matches were the best, and they're rewatchable. I think they hold up. Like they for death matches, they always had the best story structure to me. John knew when to end a match and what to end it on. Like his matches that he called did not end on like somebody, like it wasn't like they went off the top of the building and then they went back in and ended it with a body slam, or a roll up. Right. Like it was the most like, are these guys dead? Moment of the match, which was legitimate. That was the appeal for our cult audience. Like that was like the hook.
Yeah, I definitely remember, like you said, like a lot of John's stuff ended like a car crash. You know what I mean? Like, like building up to the big bump, building up to the roof thing, building up to what, something like that, building up to hanging from hooks, building up to, you know what I'm saying? That's what I mean when I was saying, like, even segments he was a part of were like crazy, dramatic and had a climax, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I completely forgot about the hooks thing. Jesus Christ!
it was always disturbingly violent and traumatic in a way that you're just like sears itself into your brain. I remember all those bumps and all like this.
Remember,
oh my god,
who was it that invaded that had him all tied up? IWA was it? Was it Ian Rotten or somebody?
That was post Eddie. That was
post Eddie.
That was
like they had him tied up in the ropes, and then like I forget who he was with at the time or what her name was, but like they even got her involved. Like she ran into the ring. They acted like they were going to hit her with the chair. Then they whoppled John, who was like tied up. It was, like even that was like crazy dramatic, you know?
Yeah.
IWA, I want to say. I think it was like when IWA invaded Ian Rotten and his crew.
Might have been. It could have been just like the Lobo's Army thing. I remember that being real big back then.
Lobo's Army was awesome.
Yeah.
Lobo was amazing.
Really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that guy doing now? We should get in contact with that guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's got to be around somewhere.
How good was Lobo on the stick and just
Great.
as a personality?
Natural.
Yes.
Just like, it was horrible with his knee and the torn ACL and everything because it stopped him from wrestling. Mm-hmm. But man, would we have seen Lobo shine like he did if that hadn't happened to him? Either like he became a million times better after he had to do something other than wrestle for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to be like Lobo, the company owner, and he was amazing. Him and John is like that's CZW classic feud.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the all-time greats. Is Lobo and John? That's defining for CZW.
If not the greatest CZW feud of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's been some good modern stuff, in the last decade, but no, if we're talking classic stuff, that's definitely top notch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, I'm sure, did it annoy anybody else that Lobo used to hold the microphone down by his belly button? Like, what was that about? Like, why did he hold it down against his body, like down way under his chest? Like, how did it even work? Did it even work? Like,
I loved everything Joe did out there. I thought he brought his A game every time he was on the mic or had a segment to do, and just like a lot. I think Lobo gets overlooked in a lot of our early success, even when he couldn't wrestle. Like he was him versus John was a driving force for our audience and everything. So I don't think Lobo gets enough credit. I think he should get a lot more credit than what he gets.
Yeah, definitely.
I think John should get more credit than what he gets in the deathmatch universe, miniverse, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, if you really if you really zoom out on the whole thing, and if you really wanted to break it down and really, really, really get into it, I mean, guys like John and Joe, Lobo, that whole scene, that whole era, those feuds, the deathmatch wrestling, the location of coming to the ECW arena, like so much of that is what was like, I don't know, part of the driving force of indie wrestling in the tri-state area, and what sort of ignited some of the feud between, not feud, but just friendly, healthy competition between CZW, Jersey All Pro, Ring of Honor, and just like, other, even Chikara after a while, you know what I mean? Started to become a thing and compete on the indie scene. Like, back to my point, like these guys are responsible for all that, you know what I mean? Like just putting the company on the map, putting indie wrestling, putting ultra violent wrestling on the map, all of it,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and they don't get the acknowledgement, like you said.
They don't get the acknowledgement. They don't get the credit. Like I think a lot of people forget that when CZW moved from Rassle and moved into running in the ECW arena, like that lit a firestorm of pro wrestling companies coming into the area.
Yeah.
I mean, that was followed by
and running in that
following
building.
our success there and John's success there. You had a slew. How many? At least half a dozen that moved in immediately, very quickly, as they could, and we couldn't afford to keep them out.
Right.
So,
3PW ran there. Chikara was running there sometimes.
XPW, I think, at some point.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, obviously
Ring of
XPW. Yeah, XPW for sure. For during that whole saga, that whole feud. Anybody get hurt in that whole angle?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard anything recently.
let's save that one for another episode. How crazy, but that's what CZW versus XPW is such a knotted ball to get into. It needs its own. It needs its own episode.
If he's not tired of telling the story, maybe Billy can come on and shed some light on that.
We can just find his Unsolved Mysteries or whatever that show he was on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's on hard copy.
Hard copy.
Was it hard copy?
I don't know.
It's not. It's not hyperbole when I say or exaggeration to say that when I say the Wild West of indie pro wrestling.
Oh yeah.
CZW was it. That was the place to be. There were so many people that our classes got so. You know what? I'll save school stuff with a night we can get John on or Dahmer on or something to talk about that. But it blew up very quickly. I remember when I first getting back to John. Well, you know what? I was just thinking go off on a little bit of a related tangent here. Shooters in CZW 2001, 2002. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that you couldn't wrestle in CZW and be a bitch. That was not allowed. That was weeded out really quickly. And most times that wouldn't even John would make if a dude was a bitch, John would make a decision on that really quickly, right or wrong. But yeah, you couldn't be a whiny I gotta stuff I jammed my thumb or some shit that. Mm-hmm. We had guys breaking their legs jumping off the top off the roof and Lobo out there on his completely wrecked ligamentless knee running around doing spots and everything. So there wasn't you had it was so many of the guys were on gimmicks and everything too to take care of it. You were it wasn't a thing that was, I would say, acceptable to complain about. Was whining about pain. That was, you were in the wrong place if you wanted.
Plus, it was concussion central. It was concussion night after night, nightly basis. Somebody got a concussion. It was just which
is not a good thing. Which is not a good sign.
No,
yeah, right.
No. It was guys were really reckless, but on the same token, I can't say I worked with too many guys that didn't lay their shit in.
Right?
And I mean in a working way.
Right.
Usually the concussions and everything was just coming from stuff that guys shouldn't do. If you expect to remain healthy. But some guys were really willing to do that and take it to the next level. And John was leader of the pack as far as that was concerned. So the sky was the limit on anything you wanted to do. But having said that, the shooters, the legit guys that you wouldn't that would fuck you up in a fight, in a fist fight, a street fight. And that you wouldn't would just be yeah, that dude will fuck you up.
Mm-hmm. Nikki and Nate, definitely.
Oh, I didn't realize you were asking. I thought you were going to say who you thought.
I thought you were
no,
asking.
No, I thought Eddie. No, yeah, I wasn't sure if Eddie was asking or if he was going to. Who did you say? Nikki and Nate? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're bad motherfuckers.
Well, I think
certainly Beater for sure will kill you. They'll kill someone for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Wife Beater.
Oh, Wife Beater, yeah. Wife Beater, Nate Hatred, definitely. Nikki had a background in freestyle. I was never too worried about like Nikki. I figured he was like on my level or below me. So, but yeah, definitely in the shooter class. Nikki, Nate, Wife Beater, yep, for sure.
I'm trying to think of who's probably a couple of sleepers I'm forgetting about from like. So we're talking about like early.
Well, Dahmer.
Oh yeah, Jesus, of course Dahmer.
Yeah, like Dahmer.
I guess in my mind he just went without saying. I was like, oh yeah, Dahmer would kill us.
Joker, I think. Joker would. I've seen Joker mess up some people in the locker room a couple times.
Where did Joker come from before CZW?
I don't know the promotion.
I forget where him and Nell came from the same place. I can't remember if it was somewhere in Philly or Jersey.
Okay, then that's not what I'm thinking of. I was thinking.
Yeah, no, he's a Philly guy.
I was thinking of a different guy. All right,
Phil's a Philly guy. I mean, later down the line, Drew Gulak will fuck you up. He'll fuck you. He's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, he can tie you up.
He'll fuck you up. Who else is a toughie back in the day? Definitely not that sassy Nick Burke. He's a big sissy.
He's a softie.
So
yeah, he couldn't even make it here tonight.
No.
Yeah,
I also didn't invite him, but that's one way or the other.
No excuse. No excuses.
Yeah. No excuse. He should know. He should know to show up.
He should know to show up.
We'll have him on soon.
Who else was tough?
Soon about it. Gosh, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of who were like the wrestlers.
I wouldn't say Mondo was a shooter, but Mondo would fight you.
Oh yeah.
Like there are guys that would fight. Like that would fight you, and then like I'd fight somebody. Like that was never an issue with me. That was part of my tryout at the Samoans was like shoot wrestling. I had to shoot wrestle one of the vets that had like about 100 pounds on me. That was part of my tryout.
Who was it DeVore or somebody in the beginning that was like the guy to get in there and stiff you, like in training. Like I forget who it was. This was before you got there already, I think.
Okay,
Steve the teacher.
And it was not Steve the teacher.
Steve the teacher is a school day discussion. Believe me, we will get to Steve the teacher.
Yeah,
that is on my list.
Yeah.
Steve the teacher is on my list.
Yeah. I don't know, but CZW was definitely the place for the toughest guys. Like some of the toughest guys I've ever met has been in CZW, definitely.
Yeah, Danny Rose, Danny would fight you.
Really?
Adam, I think would fight you too.
Oh yeah, both.
Yeah, well, a lot of us were just brought up in like, I worked with Danny before I ever came to CZW for a couple of years, and Danny wasn't a bitch. Like, he'd pop you. Like, but that was a lot of the guys that were there were the like last generation of the old school trained guys, though. Like, so most of the guys there like had enough respect. We had enough respect for each other not to test each other in that way either. Yeah. You know, and John kept a pretty iron grip on that sort of shit too, because like anybody fighting would have to eventually get in front of John about it. Like, John would find out about it, and you don't know what his reaction would be.
Hey. Yeah.
Hey there, Nico.
Hey, I got the sniffles.
Oh no.
Oh. He's just working us right now. He's selling the cold. He's like,
I can't go to school tomorrow.
Yeah. He starts preschool soon, this little guy. How about that?
Just start doing
he's
that.
Talking too.
Start beating your chest there.
Well, I'm gonna go say goodnight to him, but I'll be right back.
All right, good.
Okay.
Yeah, back to John. I'm gonna take him off while we're. Oh no! I singled him out. I didn't want to do that.
Hi.
There we go. Back to John Zandig. Were you there for the what was it? It was one of the tournament of deaths, I think, where what was it? John and Mondo off the roof through the what was it, like a light tube cabin?
That was the one right after I left.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. That was right after I had left, I believe, if I have my timeline correct. Because I think that was after I was gone, and I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And,
yeah.
That really fucked Mondo up.
Oh, yeah. That was bad.
That was really bad on him. John, too, I'm sure, wasn't doing too much better. But, like, if you remember that bump, as you go, I think Mondo talks about this, too. When you watch it, as they're going down, like, John's feet are breaking those tables on the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's like Mondo's just free falling off the roof onto the ground now because there's no tables, because John's feet have already. I mean, he should never have done the bump to begin with. It was
no
ridiculous, but but again, John was willing to do it.
Yeah, it's just one of those.
So that
things
was it. Like it wasn't so much John pressuring people. A lot of the times, like it could feel like that. But it wasn't so much John, I think, pressuring people as John being like, hey, I'm doing it. Like,
right.
If you're in this division of guys that are doing this, I expect you to go as far as I'm willing to go, and I'll go even farther.
Yeah.
I think guys do the deal on that, but John was an older guy with a lot of younger guys, and for the most part, and like a lot of guys did look at John like a kind of like older brother, father figure kind of thing. Like John was always super cool with me. I like I said, I was comfortable with John, like real early on. Mm-hmm. And once I started working there and everything, and like going down to the school, I'd make crazy. I was commuting from Reading down to Deptford like twice a week, 2 or 3. Well, you remember 2 or 3 times a week, whatever. Twice a week, I was just drove my van until it died. That's like, and John bought me a car. Like I was like, I was like I'll move down there because John had that condo and he rented it out to me in cash for his cash. Mm-hmm. He was a trainee at the time, I think, or it had just started working. And John rented us his condo, and he bought me a car. It was like a $300 car, but he bought me a car. It worked. That car ran for years, so it lasted a good long while for a $300 car. And between me and Cash, we beat the shit out of that thing. So, like, as I used to let him like drive around too, because as far as I was concerned, well, John, got me the car for us to get around in, like for me to get around in. So if he needs to use it, I let him use it. So I would just let him take the car whenever he needed it, as long as I wasn't like bouncing in Berwyn or working a show or something.
Right. I do have the Rooftop Bump if you want to see it.
Oh yeah. This is insane.
Yeah, that is
what a well earned holy shit chant was that. Just earned every last. I mean, not worth it, but like indelible moment in deathmatch wrestling history.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
Was that the TOD too? Was that the Mondo? Okay.
The Rooftop Bump, yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, we're just talking about how nice John is, and also how insane he is.
yeah. I'm gonna tell two John stories.
Okay.
I don't know how much you guys remember, but like over time, especially after I moved down to Deptford and was like a head trainer at the school with Dahmer. It was me and Dahmer were the head trainers and everything. Like me and John talked on a daily basis a lot, especially with the school, booking stuff sometimes. A lot of like he'd give me and Dahmer tapes to review of like guys that wanted to come work. Half the time it was just to tell them to stop sending tapes. They weren't getting booked, and he didn't want to be the one to do it. So that was it. We got the task of Dream Crushers. Which would have been an awesome tag team name.
I was about to say. Why didn't you do that?
Now I need a time.
You only beat like green like nobody teams all the time. Like you always
just the
dream. I was almost in CZW, but I couldn't make it past the Dream Crushers.
Oh, what a great gimmick!
Yeah.
Well, hindsight is often 20-some years too late. Okay. maybe in the next life.
Yeah.
We'll have to give it to somebody else.
Me and John talked all the time. We went on like business meetings. John got me hooked up with a job down there when I moved down with this guy that he hooked me up with. Okay. So this guy he was running a commercial industrial caulking, contracting business. He had these big industrial caulking machines that he had just bought. That were like brand new, like prototypes and everything. And we would do like these huge warehouses that are just like thousands and thousands of feet long. And we would caulk those big cement slabs. That was the job. That was the business this guy was running while he was collecting workman's comp in Jersey, I think, and unemployment in Pennsylvania at the same time.
Fantastic.
Perfect John
kind
friend.
of person.
It's the American dream.
Perfect John friend. Yep, that's who John hooked me up with for a job. Perfect. Just so
that can't go south.
He told me a story. I'll tell the story that he told me because he had grown up in the same neighborhood as John and knew all the lore, all the deep all the
lore,
like the real pre-CZW pre-wrestling John Zandig around town, lures and stories. And he told me this one story that he was sitting in a bar, and like down at the other end of the bar, this guy was sitting there, and him and John had some heat or something, some beef over something. The dude had been running his mouth about fucking John up. So he said, as he's sitting there, John comes into the bar, comes up, grabs the guy by the back of the head, slams the back of his head down onto the ground, knocks him out cold, turns around, walks out of the bar, never said a word. Never said a word. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I love those kind of stories. He had a bunch of them. So that was one that stayed in my mind. I was like, okay, like this is the kind of guy like that I'm doing business with. All right. And John had a story he told. He always thought this was a funny story. This is one of the stories that John told that he laughed at. One of his own laugh about stories.
Yeah.
And he told me he was walking. I think he might have been homeless at the time, or like in some kind of semi-homeless situation that I think John was probably frequently in when he was young. And he said he was walking down the street, and it started pouring out. And I guess he was going to he was trying to get to the place wherever he was staying, living, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he saw that these people were having a party at this house, and it's pouring, like drenching, pouring down rain. And he said, so I wanted to get out of the rain. So they're having this party. So I went in and got out of the rain because it was raining, and I didn't want to be wet anymore. I didn't want to keep walking in the rain. So John he crashed the party, but was well within his rights to crash the party because there were a bunch of people there and he was getting wet. So that's okay.
Did anybody say
anything? How's that not okay?
Like, did anybody say, like, who are you?
Yeah, why are you here?
Yes, they did. The owner of the home happened to say, who the fuck are you and what the fuck are you doing in here? Before John decided to throw him off his own fucking porch.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I think I can't remember if he said he threw him through the glass window of the porch, or if he just like snatched him and like opened the door and threw him off his own fucking porch.
Wow.
But he thought that was really funny, and I did too. Actually, like I felt bad for the guy whose house party.
Yeah. Yeah, damn.
Jesus Christ.
I just think it's hilarious that John's like, well, what did you want me to do? It was raining.
It was raining. It was raining, people. You got to understand.
It was raining.
It was raining.
It looked like you guys were having fun in here. So
he told the guy all he wanted to do was get out of the rain and sit. And he told him to get the fuck out. So he threw him out of his house.
Jesus Christ.
Appropriate reaction. So those are two John Zandig stories.
Yeah.
And that brings me to just, I don't know, those are the ones that stick in my brain. And when I think about John, like, those are the kind of stories that come up because he was that kind of wild guy, but he like was just quietly aggressive and abrasive to most people. So you wouldn't unless you like lived in the neighborhood and like talked to some of these people, or like John told you himself, like some of the things that he would do, like it was just like this dude is wild and not someone with whom to fuck whatsoever.
John was like he's like an old Italian wife, or at least he was, where like he would babyface everybody that shook his hand, but then like as soon as he was around just you and like a couple of the elite few or whatever, he'd like bury that person. He'd talk some shit, but like, just total gossipy, like Gossip Girl shit. Like, you know what I mean?
But I can't hold that against the guy because we all do that. That's pro wrestling.
Yeah, that's everybody. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
John did it in that way though. John did it in that old housewife kind of way. Like, in the sense that like he would shake the person's hand at the show, and then like they would move on, and then he would just lean over to you and be like, "This motherfucker, whatever." You know what I mean? And just like shit on him, you know.
Well, I mean, I would get handed handed assignments, but John kind of did run things like a low level, petty crime organization. Now that I think about it, he definitely had his capos. I remember the one time he had to have me. He wanted me to there was heat between Chris. Justice Payne had heat with Mondo, so this had to have been the time that Justice Payne and Mondo were having their that feud was hot. Mondo and Justice Payne.
I don't remember too much of it.
You don't remember too much of it? I remember that being
like
when the lights went out and they came back in and Mondo had the two bags
at the arena, right? At the arena.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Did they ever get around to working? Did they ever get around?
Yeah, they did. This is where the heat was coming from. Okay, I'll tell you exactly where the heat was coming from.
Okay.
Chris didn't like Justice Payne didn't like working with Mondo because Mondo. I had to squash this heat. Mondo liked to throw chairs at people as they were turning around.
Like legit in the back,
That was
or
it.
like during a ring, during a
No,
match?
he'd call the spot, but
Right.
Yeah, it was
like
a
they'd
spot,
turn
right.
and he'd sling a chair at their head. So he was
Right.
doing this just as pain.
Mm.
But probably I
And
think
that's it.
it probably hit him pretty nasty. Now that I think about it, it's probably a legit gripe, but I just didn't like Chris. So
Right, but also because we choreograph these fights, can't he just ask that he not do that? Or like,
well,
I'm
it was this
I'm
thing
gonna
where
duck this one. I'm gonna duck this time. So let me,
Justice Payne bitches about how Mondo's throwing chairs at him to John. John would come to me and say, "Hey, you need to tell your boy to stop throwing chairs at people when their heads are turned." Chris is getting upset about it. These were the issues. These were the like when we had match gripes. This was the kind of stuff that we had to. This was the kind of heat we had to squash. It was very high level. Like hey, you could do the thing
It's
where
fun.
you like slice me like all the way down my back to the point where like I need like 300 staples. But
Right.
could you not sling a chair at me while my head is turned? Like it's like that's where
it's fun. It's
I'm
funny
fine,
too
I'm
when
fine with the 300 staples, but could you not throw the chair at my head when it's turned?
yeah.
So I had to tell Mondo to stop doing that.
It's
And
always
his
funny,
reaction
too, when
was
you
pretty
have
much
to-
like, "Well, why the fuck can't he say it?" And I was like, "I don't know, man.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm just being the messenger boy here." You know, like I don't want to do it either. I don't want to be the dream crushers either. You know, but it's part of my job. You know.
So we got a couple minutes left. We've been doing this almost an hour here. Do we want to talk about the promo?
Yeah, let's talk about. We have to.
Oh,
Talk
yeah,
about,
well,
we can't
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
John for an hour and
Right.
not talk about the Jesus promo. So it's going to be an extended edition. I don't care.
Yeah. Should
You guys are gonna
we
have to stick around? We're gonna have to talk about the Jesus promo.
should we play this? I have this here.
Yeah.
let's-
You guys ready?
Let's go for it.
This is Robbie Marino, CZW with Zandig. Oh my God, what the fuck just happened?
What do you mean what happened? What are you, blind? Jesus! There was 5 of them! It took 5 of them! Justice Payne! Hate Club! The Hate Club's dead! Nick Gage! Nate Hatred! Who do you think you are? Nobody does this to Zandig! Nobody does this to a wife beater! Zandig, wife beater, Nick Mondo! We are the most ultra-violent force on the face of the earth! Oh my! Oh! Yo, you're gonna die! You are gonna die! I guarantee it! I am gonna kill you! You people have not seen anything! This is just the start of fake UTV! I am the ultraviolet icon! This is Robbie Marino! This is CZW, the most violent federation on the face of the earth! You just wait and see how far we're gonna go! I'm out of here!
There you go.
It's like, look, I haven't seen it in a long time, and
Yeah.
you really forget just how cringe it is. It's so cringe, but so perfect. It's so cringe and so perfect. Like, I was trying to put together words the whole time I was watching it, and I just don't have them yet.
No.
There's so much to say there in that. It captures such a time period. It captures such a movement. It captures the momentum of a movement during that time. That promo.
It's the epitome of a early CZW, like just the energy of it. The whole
his faux anger,
frenetic,
his faux rage.
frenetic rage. That's that whole, just that CZW, early CZW in a nutshell, frenetic rage. Everybody is out of their minds with rage, and you're going to see fucked up
rage.
shit.
And it was such a wonderful promo, not just for that angle that was going on, but like the whole company, how he put a button on it at the end. Like, this is CZW, the most violent federation in the whole world, or whatever he said. Like,
I'm out of
all
here.
it was all this craziness. I'm going to say a bunch of names you've definitely never heard of. And I'm going to talk about
Hate
something
Club.
called the Hate Club.
Hate Club's dead. It's just, there's word association. It goes into word association.
Zandig, Whitebeater, Nick Mondo. We are the most violent force.
Hate Club's dead. Like, just
poor Robbie, man.
Just paid.
Why did he call out Robbie at the end? Like, it was just like
starts dropping names, word association, and then he brings it back with a strong finish there.
Right, like the whole thing. Like the whole thing was a commercial for the CZW brand. Like, I'm John Zandig. Like, you're going to see more of this guy. This is Robbie Marino.
Sign me up. Sign me up. You got my eyeballs. You got my eyeballs. I'll watch this giant, and John wasn't like John projected much bigger than what he was, but he was just a giant personality. Especially when it was just he went into berserker mode there.
Yeah,
just went into complete berserker mode and just word association, kill everybody. Most ultraviolet force, get this all together. Okay, now we're gonna talk about what happened after this promo dropped.
Okay,
this gem of CZW marketing and promotion.
I know that in the locker room, it was a big hit.
It absolutely was. They were watching this on tape in Japan and laughing about it. And John came by. Oh, so imagine everybody's all the boys are watching this, going like, oh, "Holy shit, this is hilarious! This is like the funniest thing that we've ever seen John do." Right? And it's on tape, and it's just, I mean, compare that John to the John that you did business with.
Yeah.
That's why it's funny, because John didn't generally lose his fucking shit like that.
Yeah.
It was way over the top, even for over the top John. Even when John did his promos, he didn't flip out like that. He went out there and Bret Harted cooled it. Like, just with the leather jacket and the hat and the cool John Zandig. Kill you with light tubes.
I'm super cool,
or something, it was super cool, John Zandig. It wasn't like, oh ma, like where he just starts going into rage noises. Just rage noise. John Zandig, incredible rage noise. So all the boys watched this. This dropped on. I don't think anybody saw it till dropped on TV, and then it had spread through the locker room like wildfire. Everybody was like what they were watching it from what I was told. Everybody was in a hotel room watching it repeatedly in Japan and laughing about it. And John, I guess, came by and saw them watching it and laughing about it, and said that it was all Robbie Marino's fault.
Of course it was.
No, it was not.
Sorry,
because they had to do like 30 takes, and that was the best one. Like he Monty Burns'd it. He was
Oh my God.
You could definitely tell that
was the best one.
You could tell 100% watching it, again in hindsight, now that we're breaking it down like professionals. Like, you could tell that all of John's post-match adrenaline was gone. It was all he was totally cooled off completely. And this was all faux rage. He had his gallon water jug, which takes me back.
We have to get Robbie Marino on, because this is actually a mystery. because I believe Robbie Marino claims that it was one take, and that was it.
I've heard that as well.
One take of it.
I've heard
so
one.
John apparently claimed at some point that it was like it was a huge amount of take. Oh, and the reason why they had to do so many takes was because Robbie kept laughing.
Okay.
The take. So I believed it because we just watched what ended up being showed on television.
Right.
To
I
our
think John
entire
would have killed
audience.
him though.
So
John would
this
have
is
been
what I'm
super
saying.
pissed.
Like I believed that story for a while because I would have laughed. I absolutely 100%. If I was standing there when John was shooting that promo, would have laughed out loud about it.
I think John would have eventually
Because I was
Yeah.
like John could be like mean and say some like mean shit, but I was kind of mean to John too because I thought that shit was funny too. So
yeah, I mean,
getting to that point. So now it's gone throughout the whole locker room. Like we're watching it. The boys are watching it in the States. The boys are watching it in Japan. We know it bothers John now. Like he's embarrassed about it. So now I know he's embarrassed about it. So now I'm like, this is going to be some funny shit. So I said to Chris, let's take the promo and put it on our voicemail.
Yeah.
And John called me every day. So he very often left messages when I was like at work or, wherever before I went down to school or whatever. He would just leave a message. So daily. So we took the promo and just put it as our voice message machine. If you called us and got our voicemail, you heard the Jesus promo for 3 months. 3 months we had that on there.
Jesus.
The whole thing, like the whole start to finish.
The whole promo. The whole promo from start to finish. So I got first all the messages were like, John is gonna kill you. I can't believe you guys have that as your voicemail. Now, by the time I got those messages, John had already heard it because, like I said, he called all the time. So, it was very quickly after we made it the voice message that he first heard it, and the first message that we got on there, the first time I picked up the phone after, he did leave a message. He heard the promo, he listened to the whole thing, and then said, "Ha ha ha! Very funny, motherfuckers." Okay, well, call me when you get in then. That was the message that he left. That was the message that he left when he heard it.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Very funny, motherfuckers.
That's right.
I'll tell. Let me tell one more John Zandig voicemail story.
Okay.
To wrap this up with Chris, because it's my personal favorite. And it just, this always makes me think of Chris, and it makes me laugh and smile because it's just so fucking funny. After that message, if either you guys remember, Chris made one of those voice messages that sound like you're answering the phone.
Oh yeah.
And you fuck with people,
like, hey,
right?
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's been done to death.
Sure. Sure.
Chris's was really good. Really good. Like, it got me 9 times out of 10 good.
Yeah.
And I was there when he made it. So I start laughing because I'd be trying to get a hold of Chris. I'm calling home. I'm trying to get a hold of Chris. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I start going like, "Yo, Chris." Yeah. And he could keep it going. He kept it going for a while too.
Yeah.
And then we get you, and he's like, "Motherfucker." I just fucking right. So it was a really good one. I'll give him credit. It was like 5 stars. Always got you. Well, if it got me 9 times out of 10, and I knew about it and was there when he recorded it, how many times you think it got John?
Oh my god.
100% of the time.
Probably got so many partial messages from John.
Yeah.
100% of the time it got John. So the one day I was home and the phone starts ringing, and I'm like, I pick up the phone and I'm like, "Hello?" And nobody answers. I'm like, "Hello?" No answer. I'm like,
Right.
Whatever. Bad connection, whatever. If it's important, they'll call back.
Yeah.
It rings immediately. Like, I couldn't believe how quickly it rang again. Like I set it down and it like started ringing.
Yeah.
So I pick up the phone. I'm like, hello? He's like, you fucking motherfuckers with that fucking message every fucking time I fucking call. And you fucking get me.
Yeah.
And this time, you pick up I call, I say, you're not going to fucking get me this time.
You're not going to get me.
You fucking hang up on me. And of course, I'm laughing hysterically. This is perfect. This was like a Christmas and birthday present for me, all wrapped up in one. Just
Couldn't
to
have
get that
planned anybody.
reaction from John, where he's just wigging out because Chris keeps tricking him repeatedly with no effort. And he's just screaming at me. I'm like, of course, I'm laughing, so it's not helping the situation. He's just getting angrier. Change that fucking message.
I definitely. I'm pretty sure Robbie got me with that one time. Like, Robbie had that as his voicemail, and he got me with it. And you definitely feel like such a smacked ass. You're like, God damn it! Like, how did I not know that wasn't them?
Right, especially if it happens more than once. Like, you know that it's on their message, but you're just not thinking about this. It's like, damn it, he got me again.
I laughed. I laughed every time it got me. Every time, no matter how angry I got, it made me laugh every single time it got me.
Yeah, you're like,
it was so good. I appreciated how good it was. I was just like, damn, he did like the best version of that I've ever heard.
Yeah.
the legend of Zandig.
Yeah, that's John Zandig for you. I think that's about it. I think we ran pretty. I think we got out all of our Zandig, everything that we've been keeping inside about Zandig for the past 20 years or so.
You know what? We were actually too nice. I think we have to do a part 2.
We have to do a part 2.
Yeah, I mean,
look. We just spent this whole episode. We just spent this whole episode sucking them off, and I don't want people to think like, oh, John Zandig was a saint. John Zandig is not a saint.
No, we had
so there's other stories. So we should revisit John for at least like a half segment or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
because I got yelled at unfairly by John. I got heat. I got baggage. I got John baggage that I got to unload.
Well, all right.
I gotta yell about when I got yelled at for the first time I used the palm strike, which I got chastised for, like a child.
There was some stuff.
I got gripped up and thrown out of the locker room by John once, so that's a fun story.
Yeah, there we go.
Well, is that the headbutt story? Is there a headbutt story?
There is, but that wasn't the time. That led up to it.
Okay. Then we should do a part 2.
Yeah, we do need to do that.
I'm dying to talk to you about this.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely will, and I'll save it for when we're live because it'll be better that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now there's a hell of a teaser for you. So thanks everybody for watching. Eddie, Nico Sozio, thank you guys so much for sharing your stories with us. And we'll definitely be back with way more CZW stuff in the near future. So stay tuned. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, share the video, and that'll be it. I'm not gonna flex because I had nothing to flex. But that'll be it, and we'll see you guys next time.